Hey everybody, it's Father Casey, the pastor of the Epiphany of our Lord Church. Welcome you once again to our YouTube channel, The Fourth Magi. Tonight we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk and the sadness of his death. But I'm going to lead with the question of, why do you go to church? This past weekend, a person was very upset with me simply because I prayed for Charlie Kirk. Now, I didn't give a homily about him. I didn't say anything about his politics, or I didn't say anything about anything other than I remembered him when we offered the Mass and when we prayed the Eucharistic prayer, praying for his soul and because of his death. That was it. But this person made a comment to me which I will not repeat, and I got heated, and I probably won't see this person again in my parish for a while. And am I sad about that? On one level, yes. But on another level, I had to ask myself that question, well, why are you here? I didn't actually say that to this person, but that's what I was left with all week as I pondered this. And, you know, I want to be liked. I'm a priest, I'm a person, a human being. I want to be liked. So when somebody gets upset or I get upset and then winds up being in a situation where they walk away, which is not the first time in my parish, because I'm not going to be liked by everybody. But it makes me question myself. Why did I say what I say? Did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? And the question that I really came away with was, why do you go to church? Because one of the statements I have heard in the past is, I come to church not to hear about politics. And when I hear that statement, which it was implied in this argument that I had with this person, what's implied is that, politics don't belong in church. And I thought, in our scriptures, it's rife with politics. In our Old Testament, in our New Testament, there's politics all over the place. Everything Jesus has to deal with is because of politics. Jesus is put on trial, tortured, and put to death because of politics. Because, we have to remember the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes, they are all part of a group called the Sanhedrin. The Sanhedrin is the political body of the Jewish people. Okay? We have to understand that. Now, we know from Jewish theology, they have lots of laws. Okay? They have laws. That's politics. Jesus is constantly going up against the Pharisees and dealing with politics because he is arguing about laws, about what's right and what's wrong. John the Baptist, he is beheaded because he told King Herod that it was wrong to sleep with your brother's wife. So, he gets put in jail. All he did was speak, but he spoke against a political figure, King Herod, who's in charge of this area of Judea. And so, his girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to call her, winds up having him beheaded to silence him. Sound familiar? Politics. All over the New Testament. Jesus is put on trial. He's got people lying to him. He's in a court case with the Sanhedrin. They lie about what he says and what he does. And they look for a little thing to get him, and he gets convicted. Kangaroo court, politics, and he winds up having to go. They have to go to the head government, Pontius Pilate, who's the governor, a political position, governor, right? Like Shapiro or Kathy Hochul, whatever her name is in New York, political position, because he's the only one who can put anyone to death. So this politician has to make a political decision about this person that's been brought to him for violating their laws. More politics. And what happens to Jesus, we all know. He gets crucified and dies. And we of the story. But the letters of St. Paul, rife with politics. So my point is, I'm beating a dead horse here, that if you come to church, you are not going to escape politics. Now, the priest may not want to talk about politics. He may not couch it, his homily, in political terms, because not every Sunday do you have political readings or readings that deal with political issues like life, the Annunciation, right? John being conceived in the womb, Jesus being conceived in the womb, the death penalty, and there's all sorts of issues that crop up in the readings. And yes, it's going to be political in the sense where the politics of our nation enter into our lives. You don't escape it. The whole point is how do we inform politics with our faith? And that's why I would get so upset with Catholic politicians who did not espouse Catholic principles. Because that would say to me, okay, if you're a Catholic, but you don't believe in anything the Catholic Church teaches because you espouse policies and laws that are against what the Catholic Church teaches, then what kind of a Catholic are you? It's not like a box. It's not like, I take off my Catholic jacket and go into the Senate or go to Congress. That's not a Catholic politician. Catholic politicians should bring their Catholicism into the Congress, into the Senate, into the presidency, going back to John F. Kennedy. Because that should be who you are. You should identify with your faith. And, well, the bottom line is you're not going to escape church politics. Politics is something that's always going to be there. So if you go to church thinking you're going to escape politics, you're not going to. So the tragic death of Charlie Kirk, who all he ever did was talk peacefully. Right, maybe things got a little heated, but he didn't carry weapons into a situation to debate a college student or a professor, and threaten them. No, he simply debated the issues of abortion or gay marriage or other hot topic issues. Yes, these are issues that are close to our hearts, our homes, and so we get emotional about them, but he never promoted violence, and he never promoted a movement to foment violence. And so the issues that he promoted are all 100 Catholic principles and morality. That's all he ever did. So there was nothing that was out of line with what we believe as Catholics. Now you might think, as some Catholics think, that they can pick and choose what they want to believe. And that's all well and good, but that's you living in your fantasy world thinking that that's how you can live out your Catholicism. But you can't. It's a one package deal. It's one size fits all. So if you're going to be Catholic, you believe what the Catholic Church teaches. And you'll find that in the Catechism. You just can't rip out pages and say, oh, this is my Catholic Church. No. But that's why Charlie Kirk's death is so tragic. Because all he did was promote and debate the issues that we believe in as Catholics. Not all the issues, but there wasn't anything he promoted that wasn't a Catholic issue that we didn't agree with. And so to have that voice on a college campus was powerful, and it meant a lot to me because I didn't have the courage to do it, but he did. And someone who didn't like his politics silenced him. And you want to know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to pray for that man. I'm going to pray for his wife Erica and his young boy and his young girl, because it's sad. It's tragic. And you know what? My Lord was silenced because of what he debated, what he preached, what he promoted. They silenced him, but only for 3 days. And they were trying to silence Charlie Kirk, but they won't silence him because his voice will echo amongst the thousands of people that will pick up his torch and carry it into the night. May Charlie Kirk rest in peace. And may you, if you're struggling, be able to reconcile the fact, the truth, that politics and the church intersect over and over again. And you're going to have to make peace with that or not.